Hi everyone, let's jump to the conclusion. I will not be reviewing further loot box tanks until the boxes are no longer available. I read through all of your comments on my MBTB tank review yesterday, and I want to thank you all, especially those of you who were constructive out there. You've brought to my attention, and I truly realize now, how many creators, some of which I immensely respect, are not covering the content. And the key reason why I'm not going to continue with the tank reviews is because I don't want to undermine my fellow content creators. I'd honestly say that this respect for my fellow content creators outweighs my perceived impact on how I think these videos will influence people's choices, especially how throughout the video I've said how much of a mug you are really if you end up spending thousands of dollars to be able to gamble, to be able to get vehicles that are they're fairly balanced. Now, I want to say that this is a very hard decision to make, and before all of you jump and say, oh, it's about the money, and well, yes, I'm not going to lie, this is a business and ad revenue is important, and by not covering these vehicles, I'm definitely going to take a financial hit. After making 2,500 videos on this channel, mad when I say it like that, it's not just about the money. This is effectively me abandoning one of the key reasons that I made this channel in the first place, and that is to make the most informative content that I can. And after 13 years of making videos, it's getting harder and harder to truly get excited about the content that I create. But there's always one thing that I love, and that is new tanks, and I feel like one of my best skills as a content creator is to quickly break them down for the community and to help players who want to get the vehicle to play it well, but also to help players who don't want to get the vehicle to know how to counter it. And I'm not going to lie, it honestly pains me that we've got to a point where I have to abandon, albeit just for a week, one of my most loved aspects of content creation, because the creator of the game that I've played for 14 years has gone far too far with the fear of missing out and the predatory practices of the ways that you have to obtain the content that I want to review. I want to add the caveat that I still expect all of you as adults to be able to show restraint in the face of bad deals and bad practices, irrelevant of what is shown to you. And while I totally understand that it's hard sometimes to show that self-restraint, especially when something looks so flashy and so funky in a YouTube video. Sometimes I really do question what more I need to do as a creator to break down and calculate, even with convoluted loot boxes, that it is going to cost you thousands of dollars to have an even chance to be able to get the content. That why is that not enough for players to be able to show self-restraint? But a lot of your YouTube comments have also helped me to realize that as a content creator, I am effectively an arm of Wargaming's marketing department. And by not showing these tank reviews and not showing these vehicles, that hopefully I'll reduce some of the hype around them. However, I also want to highlight that content creators not covering the content isn't magically going to change Wargaming's practices. And a lot of this comes down to you as consumers. If you still buy loot boxes and if you still play World of Tanks throughout the event, Wargaming are going to look at these statistics and they are going to talk far louder than community outrage. So please, as individuals, consider that what you can do to send a message rather than delegate responsibility to your favorite content creators. I'd like to finish by saying, please don't hate players who are playing these tanks or purchase the content. Don't judge them how they choose to spend their money, irrelevant of how much of a bad deal this is from Wargaming. Please judge the game and judge the rules and don't hate the player. I'd also like to highlight the fact that I am abstaining from featuring any of these vehicles on YouTube, that I would really appreciate it if you didn't judge or abuse other content creators who want to continue to create content on the loot boxes. Because if they're anything like me, it's probably one of the only things they actually enjoy about this game, and probably one of their favorite things about the content creation process. So to conclude, I'm going to join a lot of other content creators that I immensely respect in abstaining from releasing any content on the loot box tanks apart from one video, which will be a very different kind of video tomorrow, to make sure that I don't undermine their fantastic efforts. I also wanted to highlight, as I published in my YouTube post yesterday, as I promised, the final conclusion of anyone sitting on the fence about purchasing these boxes. If you have none of the tanks and you want to get all of the vehicles, if you have bad luck, you will have to purchase 1,265 boxes. That's $1,700. And also, if you're a tank collector and you get bad luck, you will have to buy 1,085 boxes, and that's $1,454, even with the bundle discount. I want to also clarify, even if you get average, if not good luck, even if you're a tank collector, you would have to buy 580 boxes, that's $777, to be able to get all of the content. Let this be a warning to you. I opened 500 boxes that Wargaming gave me, of which I will be donating what I would have had to have paid Wargaming to cancer research and special effect, like the £5,000 donation that I put in just last year between the two charities, that I didn't get all of the tanks, even from 500 boxes and having all of the vehicles, the previous ones that were available, before I started opening them. So please, don't get scammed. You have been warned, and I truly hope that Wargaming will massively take this into account for future monetization practices. Previously, it would cost about $100 to $200 to be able to get all of the content, and that's if you got very unlucky, by the way. Why, Wargaming, have you quadrupled the price? And did you really not expect the outrage at such a fragile period for the game before your big September update? And the final word. Thank you to all of you in the World of Tanks community for just being so passionate about this game and for standing up for yourself and for standing up for what is right. I respect all of you for it immensely, and thank you for holding everyone accountable, even me.